Next is one of the masterpieces of Dr.M.Balamuralikrishna, Hariye Gathi. This is describing the greatness of Lord Vishnu. Hariye Gathi, Sakala Charachala Mulaku. All moving things, immobile things. For everybody, Vishnu is the only asylum, he says. Hariye Gathi, Virinchi Rudradulaku. Even for Brahma and Shiva, Vishnu is the only recourse. Muddula Baludai, Muralini Chebatti, Bala Murali Nadamu Purinchi. It's a sweet child who plays the flute. That is Bala Murali. Not the composer Balamuralikrishna, but Sri Krishna. And hearing his flute, Mulloka Mulanu, Munulanu Saitamu. People in the three worlds, the saints, everybody, Muripinchi, that means they became happy. Mai Marapinchina. The sound of the flute makes them forget themselves. He says, Aya Yugamunu. For each yugam to sustain dharmam. Dharmam nilupaga avataramulanu gachina devamu. So he makes avatarams each time. 9 incarnations are over. We are waiting for the 10th Kalki, who is the Kali Yuga Varadan. And he says, Alamelu Manga Patiyai Velasina. So he is implying that Lord Venkatesha of Tirupati is actually, in fact, Kalki. Then the last Charanam speaks about the story of Bhasmasura. For our Western friends, I'll explain one story from Indian mythology, just to give you an insight. Most of the songs are either philosophical, spiritual, devotional, religious. But there is a lot of music content also, even if one did not believe in Hinduism or Hindu gods. Just the music is something special. The Bhasmasura, there's a story that there's this demon who did penance to Lord Shiva for thousands of years. Finally, Shiva was so happy with him, he appeared and he said, you can ask me for any wish you like. So he said, I want that nobody should kill me. He said, that's impossible, you have to die if you are born. Then he says, okay, you give me the power that if I put my hand on anybody, they will become ashes. They'll be turned into ashes. And ashes are bhasma. And Shiva gave him this boon. And immediately he wanted to test it on somebody. So he tried to put his hand on Shiva's head. So the story goes that if you help somebody, they are likely to hurt you. Anyway, Shiva started running because Shiva knew that he had the power and he could turn Shiva into ashes. So he ran and ran with Bhasmasura behind him. And he went to Vishnu. The song is about Vishnu, Hari. And he says, here's this ungrateful fellow trying to kill me, please help me. And Vishnu immediately took the form of Mohini, who's a very, very, very attractive woman. And he came and stood in front of Bhasmasura, and Bhasmasura immediately forgot all thoughts of killing, and he was stricken with desire for her. And you know that many men, even if they are very intelligent, educated, they can be rendered completely stupid and idiotic before a woman whom they find attractive. So here's this man standing like this in front of Mohini. And we see the same thing happening in Indian films all the time. The woman running around a tree and the man chasing her. So this happened many, many millions of years ago during Shiva and Vishnu's time. So Bhasmasura is prepared to do anything what she does. So if she says, hi, he will say, hi, back. So that sort of exchange they had. Till finally, Mohini just put her hand on her own head. And then he put his own hand on his head and he was turned into ashes. That's the story of Bhasmasura. And there's another story, Shishupala. Shishupala's, he wanted to marry Rukmini, whom ultimately Krishna married. And all his life, Rukmini's brother Rukmi had promised the hand of his sister Rukmini in marriage to Shishupala. So he was growing up to be an adult waiting for his marriage to Rukmini. And those days we had this would be an interesting bit of information to our Western friends. Earlier we had the tradition, now we have this very sad tradition of parents fixing up marriages for their children with some idiot whom they have never seen before. And of course there's a lot of rebellion going on against that. But earlier, at least in the royal families, suppose there's a princess, she had the option to select her own husband from a gallery of prospective bachelors. So the princess would walk down the aisle. She would have a female friend with her who had a garland, and the prospective bridegrooms would line up, and the friend would describe the great qualities of each of the men standing there. Suppose it's Andreas, they would say he is this very, very handsome, sweet, kind, eligible bachelor who's running a fantastic resort by the seaside. And the seafood there is excellent, and many, many things like that. And then, if she likes him, she would take the garland from her friend and put it around his neck. And our great, great, great poet Kalidasa, people call him Deepashikha Kalidasa, because he describes a scene where the princess is walking with the garland, with the friend with the garland, and as she comes and stops at each prince, his face would light up, hoping that the garland would fall on his neck. But then she passes by and he becomes dark again. So Kalidasa has compared this to a lady with a lamp. It's like she's bringing a lamp, and as she comes, each face becomes bright. So that is just a digression. But Shishupala, because he thought he would marry Rukmini and Krishna married him, all his life he spent just burning with jealousy against Krishna, who had stolen his intended bride from him. So in this composition, the composer says, Bhasmasurulu Naya Vanchakul. People like Bhasmasura are still there. If we help them, they will try and hurt us. And Asahana Surulu, people burning with unbearable jealousy like Shishupala, they are also still there. We can find them among us. So with all these people, Patti Bathinsu. Patti is not our Malayalam Patti. So Patti Bathinsu means different kinds of problems. Patti Bathinsu Itti Tarunamular, to help me escape from them. Palana Seyuta Kevaru Makevaru. Who is there to help me? Who is there to help me? Hariye Gathi, he says. So that's the meaning of the song.